Hey everyone, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Lauren.
And this is your
Behavior Tip of the Week.
Our topic for this week is ways to teach behavior. I love this topic. So let's first talk about why the thought of teaching in capital letters behavior is so difficult to grasp. A lot of times when I'm working with teachers, they totally get the aspect of how to teach academics.
Sure.
Right? I take a content, I break it down, I show examples, all of those things. And if I ask a teacher, okay, so how would you teach hand raising? How would you teach a kid how to take a break?
Sure.
How would you teach a kid calm down strategies? They're like, you just do it. So why is that? Okay, so many of the social, emotional, and behavioral skills that we acquire are actually learned through more natural processes and contexts than things like academic skills. So it really might not seem like teaching has occurred, and therefore we think about like, well, I don't know, how would I teach that behavior? But if we think about this further, when you were little, how did you learn to like label emotions, for example, or ask for something that you needed, or maybe tell somebody that you didn't want something? In reality, guys, those things were labeled for you, they were modeled, they were practiced over time. It was just that they were happening in context. So we don't like realize so much how much teaching is actually happening. Okay, we do them in the moment, and with practice opportunities over time, kids start to hopefully acquire those skills. But some of our kiddos really need more explicit out of context teaching and practice in order to be able to acquire those skills. So when we get to that and we're noticing behaviors that are happening in the classroom, sometimes we have to take a step back and we have to think about, okay, wait, how would I pull that out of context in order to teach it? How do I set up scenarios so we can have more practice opportunities to give them more ways and examples and different ways to practice it? So we get it. It's tough. We're going to talk about some ideas in this little behavior tip that are going to maybe help you with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So to break it down, let's think for a second. We're going to learn a brand new behavior. So if we were together in person, I'd ask you, how many people here know how to crochet? And typically we have one, maybe two. Every once in a while, there's two people in the room how to crochet, but not a lot of us, right? It's not a skill that a lot of us happen to have. So if I wanted to teach you how to crochet, what would you need in order to be successful? If I just stood in front of you, even on the camera, and just told you, right? If I said, pick up your right needle and put it over your left needle and twist it around. If you know how to crochet, don't yell at me because I'm making this up as I go, right? But if I just told you what to do you think that would be successful?
I would not be
anyone involved, right?
No.
So think about what things you would need. You would need some materials, right? Like you'd need the actual crochet materials, the yarn. You would need the steps and how to do it, maybe a visual. I know for myself, I would probably need some hand-over-hand prompting, right? To get started, to show me what to do, in order to do it. So modeling, faded prompts, feedback and correction. Hey, make sure that you're tightening that knot a little bit. Make sure you're doing it this way. So just like a skill like crocheting that we can break down, like Lisa was talking about, that's the same thing we need to do. When we're thinking about a specific behavior, especially if it's newer for our kids or one that's not already in their repertoire, meaning they don't already know how to do it, we really have to think about how can I use some of these things to break it down for them.
So on this slide, we have several different ways that you can think about when you're thinking about ways to teach behavior. One of my favorites on here is video modeling, which is really easy to do these days because we all have these great cameras on our phone, and kids are pretty, last time I checked, pretty into videos, right?
Okay, absolutely.
So one thing you can do with video modeling is you can take a video of the child themselves or maybe another child demonstrating the behavior. So an example I love to give in this, when I was teaching, somebody I worked with was trying to teach her kids to walk in line. And it used to be like, you never had enough hands. Like we're walking, we're trying to just keep them on the yellow line, right? It's like, oh my gosh, you just never have enough hands. So what she did was she took a video of them walking correctly in the line. She started off with another class. Then she ended up taking a video of them walking in line. So when I look outside, I watch her and she's holding up an iPad and she's walking backwards and all the kids are walking on the line, just staring at themselves walk on the video.
That's awesome.
And I was like, oh girl, mic drop. That is the perfect example of ways to teach behavior because it was not a skill that they were being successful with. Maybe they didn't have it in their repertoire. They just didn't understand how to do it. I've also used this in lots of other other ways. So you can get creative with it. You can do it with teaching kids how to take a break. Take a video of what it looks like to ask for a break, go to the break area, set a timer, do some calming strategies, and then come back to their seat. Because they can go back to those videos over and over and over again. As a way to review too. So just one of the strategies that I really like on this list is video modeling.
Yeah, that's so valuable. And I know they're motivated to see themselves in the video too, right?
Yeah.
Like this is a video of me.
Yeah.
Kind of on that same idea train. I really like to use social stories. And when we write social stories, we try to include the student in the social story, right? So a social story is typically a quick story. It talks about a situation or maybe a specific time of day or activity of the day that the student is struggling with. We talk about the expectations during that time of day and how their reactions or how their specific behaviors could impact others around them and how it's going to impact their day, right? So it kind of just gives them a way to read through those expectations, rehearse those expectations. We always say, read those social stories with the kids when they're like in calm and stable functioning, in a calm environment before that situation occurs, kind of as a prep and a practice, so that when you get into that situation, all you have to do is don't forget your strategies, remember the things you read about in your story, and everything is kind of rehearsed and remembered for them. So like Lisa said, this is by no means an extensive list, but just some ideas, ways to get you thinking. So think about, are there specific skills for students in your class that you're like, wow, I really do need to just take a step back and use some of these strategies to teach that specific skill that my student is struggling with. So thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next week for your behavior tip of the week.
Bye.